Turnbull Insurance Service, the first name in qualified personal service since 1866, presents Mohawk Valley Living, exploring the arts, culture, and heritage of our region. A special good morning and happy anniversary to Stan and Barbara from Remsen.
Good morning and welcome to Mohawk Valley Living. Although spring this year is really struggling to make an appearance, we are going to spring forward with our visit to area springs. In particular, we're returning to Sharon Springs, where we are going to feature farms, artists, and food. So be sure to stay tuned.
I'm gonna dig down in the dirt, plant good things to eat. I'm gonna heel it in with my own 2 feet, yeah, down in the dirt.
We're heading back for a second week in Sharon Springs. When you plan your trip, be sure to take breathtaking Route 20. The journey is half the fun. We take a little side trip south of the turnpike to the rural studio of Rabbit Goody. We first visited Thistle Hill Weavers over 6 years ago, and not much has changed. Just like Rabbit's weaving of reproduction fabrics from the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. She uses antique warpers and looms, and the process is just part of who she is.
I've been weaving for now close to 40 years. I can't really tell you. I just woke up pretty much with the ability to do it, but it's the desire to understand process, to go from start to finish and to make things that are useful and real. I'm part of the hippie generation, so I wanted to build my own house, make my own clothes, grow my own food, which I do, have done all of those. But when I started weaving, I found that I had a proclivity for it. It's just something that makes incredible sense to me, and I'm fascinated by it. If I had to use one word for it, I'd say I'm still curious about it. I haven't gone to its depths yet. I'm very interested in the things that join us as human beings. And this is no different. What I'm doing is no different than what's been done for centuries. Yes, I'm doing it with 3-phase electric, but it's the same process. And it's part of human condition to make cloth. We do a lot of work for museums, and 2 of the fabrics that you've seen woven today are for the Granger Homestead in Canandaigua, New York. So some museums, some private clients, we still have a few private clients, but now we're doing work for architectural firms, and that's economically beneficial to keeping my employees employed and myself weaving. I'm a trade weaver, which means the work that I do honors the ability to put together good work habits and good craftsmanship and good understanding of my tools and my materials. And in America, we don't pay as much honor to craftsmanship and to the trades as I feel we should. And so for me, having this run like a old-time trade shop is very, very important to me. The only things that transcend our lives are art and music, and I contribute to the art part of it.
There is a bit of Hollywood right here in the Cherry Valley area. This is from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and Indiana Jones, and they were made right here, as was, by the way, the shawl in Lincoln.
Thistle Hill Weavers creates fabric for many Hollywood period films and TV series. If you've seen HBO's John Adams or Boardwalk Empire, you've seen Rabbit Goody's work. She has also worked with local Beekman 1802 Mercantile to create custom historic weave silk scarves and linens. You can learn more about the process and upcoming lectures and classes at thistlehillweavers.com.
Travis, boy, do you remember? Travis, have you lost your mind? Travis, never lose direction. Travis, oh, you're running out of time.
Sharon Springs has a couple local celebrities working on a new project. Roger Hazard from A&E's Emmy-nominated Sell This House and his partner Chris are restoring a mid-1800s Italianate Victorian home. They are documenting the process for a new web series. You can see their custom furniture and get free design advice at their retail showroom just around the corner on Main Street. Chris gives us a tour of Love Decades, timeless, high-quality furniture built to order. Everything is made in the USA. The only limit is your imagination.
Well, we want people to have an opportunity to really personalize their home through furniture. And the best way to do that is to add some color, add some interest, and pick something that's really personalized to you. And a secondary thing is we want people to be able to make an investment in furniture that's going to stick around for hopefully decades. Our goal is to give them really comfortable stuff that's also going to be durable. It's going to stand up to kids and pets. We have so many people who call me and say, well, I have cats or I have dogs, and they just make a mess of things. We have a lot of alternatives, alternative fabrics and durable stuff that will work for them and is going to look nice 10 years, 20 years down the line.
Sharon Springs' wellspring of creativity is overflowing at Luna Cakes by Design. Gail Luna is an award-winning scenic designer on Broadway who has found another creative outlet designing beautiful, completely edible cakes that taste as good as they look. You can see and order Gail's cakes and cake pops online at lunacakesbydesign.com and look for his cake pops at the Garden Party in Sharon Springs, June 1st and 2nd.
All the sons of immigrants, the sons of the native land, there are sons yet to be born to carry on the work we've just begun. Well, good times may come and good times go, but one thing stays the same.
More from Sharon Springs after the break.
Look around, it lets me know.
You go the extra mile for your small business and should expect the same from your insurance company. For over 140 years, Turnbull Insurance Service has been committed to local small business. For your commercial coverage, turn to the company ready to go that extra mile. Turn to Turnbull. Watch Mohawk Valley Living every Sunday on Fox 33 and UTR. And pick up the free Mohawk Valley Living magazine the first of each month. Available at many locations like these throughout the Mohawk Valley and at your closest Stewart shops. The Newport Marketplace is a new kind of Main Street with over 40 vendors of antiques, primitives, and country chic, and handcrafted art, jewelry, and Amish baskets. New items arriving daily at the Newport Marketplace on Route 28, just 20 minutes from Utica, Little Falls, and the Valley.
The people you know, the rock you love, and more songs per hour. 92.7 FM, The Drive, Central New York's locally owned independent rock station.
Melrose Supermarket is your family hometown market, known for their choice hand-cut meats, homemade breads, and fresh pastas and salads. Check out the weekly specials at Melrose Supermarket, East Main Street in Frankfort. Give your tongue a twist at the Black Cat Cafe. Great coffee, fabulous baked goods, and delicious breakfast, lunch, and afternoon teas. The cat's got your tongue. The Black Cat Cafe in Sharon Springs.
Hi, Dr. Tom. Bringing your cat to the Paris Hill Cat Hospital on Sundays is a part of Mohawk Valley Living. Come inside and see why.
Paris Hill Cat Hospital, this is Lindsay. How can I help you? Hello, Mrs. Cole. Your cat is losing weight and you need an appointment? And you're only available on weekends. Sure, I have an available appointment with Dr. Karen Sunday at 2 p.m. Does that fit into your schedule? Okay.
We're open 7 days a week because we know that your cat can become ill anytime. The Paris Hill Cat Hospital, quality care for your cats and kittens.
Special thanks to Turnbull Insurance Service and Mark and Jim Turnbull. Their continued support makes the show possible.
When I pass through the pearly gates, my gown may gold instead, or just red clay robes and red clay wings and red clay halo for my head.
We visit some of the longtime tradespeople in Sharon Springs. The barber shop on Route 20 has been here almost 100 years. Keith Mallory's father was a barber before him, and Keith has carried on that tradition. He is now semi-retired and only cuts hair of friends, longtime patrons, or a television host with a little too much hair over his collar.
My collar, and it shows on my Sunday clothes. Well, I do my best with the soap and the water, but the darn old dirt.
We head around the corner to an early 1900s horse barn that has been transformed into an interesting and comfortable home. This is home to local craftsman Michael Whaling. He is a furniture maker, watercolor artist, and a stonemason. His work on the 200-foot Beekman stone wall is the subject of a fascinating new book. He has been called a poet in stone, but to Michael, it's just his response to the natural world around him.
Well, I like to keep the eye moving, and I like to break up the patterns in order to achieve that. And that usually means using a mixture of stones, not only in shape, but different color as well. The challenge of it, you get to shape the stone with a splitting hammer and a chisel, and sometimes you get to put two together that just click in. And I think there's a great feeling that comes from a section of wall that you finished, and you look back and it just looks like some of those stones really should be where they are.
Michael Whaling's work can be seen in the beautiful book, The Garden Wall at Beekman Farm, available at your local bookstore and at Beekman 1802 Mercantile.
Coming to the promised land. Yes, I'm going where the sun shines. Coming to the promised land. It's been a long, long ride, but it's all right. Oh man, I'm sore and tired. Yes, I rode through the valley in the shadow of the night. Coming to the promised land. All right.
Every farm town has its local farrier. In Sharon Springs, it's Mark Tessier. This trained veteran farrier and blacksmith travels all over the area caring for our local equine population. Mark is carrying on an age-old craft and tells us about the origins of the farrier.
It's still in debate, but as far back as 1,500 years, we've located basically a strap-on sandal type of shoe in China that was believed to be used on horseback, basically to protect as much as they could for what they had to work with. The term farrier was kind of coined sometime around 1065, 1066 AD. William the Conqueror, England, his homeland's invaded by the Normans, and he pretty much gave his reason for their army winning and defending their nation was given to the fact that his horses were under such good care. And it turned out that the individual responsible for those horses' hoof care, his last name was Farius. So that's kind of the background of it. The term farrier actually is directly linked to an individual who works with horses and iron for those horses. So ferrous, the metal, etc. Honestly, when I went into the line of work, it was mostly because I wanted to change from being a contractor for 17 years. And I do like animals more than I like people on the average. But as time progressed, I realized that having changed my life in my profession actually changed my lifestyle overall and gave my wife and my kids something else that really drew us together and allowed us to spend time together in a hobby, you know. So that's the most enjoyable part for me is being able to get up on a Saturday morning and go horseback riding with my son. And I would not have done that had I not been exposed to this lifestyle to start with.
I came rolling down the hill, down into the Mohawk Valley. Train pulled into Union Station.
In 1866, James B. Turnbull walked to farms and villages to visit his customers, earning their trust. Today, the fourth generation of Turnbulls continue that dedication, tailoring a life insurance plan to suit your unique needs and priorities. Turn to the company that is out there to earn your trust. Turn to Turnbull. Watch Mohawk Valley Living every Sunday on Fox 33 and UTR. And pick up the free Mohawk Valley Living magazine the first of each month. Available at many locations like these throughout the Mohawk Valley and at your closest Stewart shops. Make the Clinton Shoppers Stroll part of your family tradition. The village is decorated with thousands of white lights. Music and the aroma of roasting chestnuts fill the air as shopkeepers invite you in for holiday treats. The Clinton Shoppers Stroll, Friday and Saturday, November 29th and 30th. Visit Brenda's Natural Foods in their brand new, bigger location, right down the street at 236 West Dominic Street in Rome. Brenda's Natural Foods, something good and a lot of it.
Hi, welcome to the Little Falls Antique Center in the shops at 25 West. We have 2 full floors with 50 vendors of interesting and unique products ranging from specialized to very eclectic, primitive to the not so primitive. Remember, shop local, we're worth the trip.
Shop Shelter for handmade Adirondack furniture designed by craftsman Jim Kiefer. He works with you to create custom pieces to your specifications, from dining room and coffee tables to bookcases, beds, and bunks. Call or visit Shelter on Main Street in Old Forge. Store co-owners Linda and Joe McHarris invite you to shop the talented local artists at the Artisans Corner. You'll discover one-of-a-kind handcrafted pottery, clothing, candles, jewelry, and original artwork, handmade from the heart of Central New York at the Artisans Corner in Clinton. Expecting company? Just call Deansboro Superette. They prepare delicious Middle Eastern platters for any number of guests. Call 841-4377. Don't miss the 27th annual Quilts Unlimited exhibition at View, featuring traditional and eclectic quilts and wall hangings from all over the United States. On display through January 5th at View, open daily in Old Forge. Alpaca Gardens has the largest selection of the finest alpaca clothing and products in Central New York. Alpaca is warmer than wool, softer than cashmere, and hypoallergenic. Choose from many styles of sweaters and all kinds of warm, comfortable socks. There's also a huge selection of alpaca yarn, roving, and felt, and is the perfect holiday shopping store for hats, mittens, rugs, ponchos, stuffed animals, handbags, and much more. Visit Alpaca Gardens. Open Monday through Saturday at 27 West Main Street in Little Falls.
On our knees with the bees, let's go climbing up that tree. Let's stay this way forever. Let's stay this age forever. Hold my hand, and here we stand with our toes in the sand. I kiss you, the sky is blue.
We head out into beautiful Sharon Springs farm country. Have you ever dreamed of owning a farm? Sometimes the dream and reality are vastly different. The Van Amberg family dropped everything for the farm life. The trials and hardships of Darmalee Farm's first year became a documentary film. It gave audiences the chance to see inside the real life of starting a dairy farm.
I think that if I had known what I was getting into, I wouldn't have done it. But in retrospect, knowing what I had to do, I still would have done it all over again. So it's sort of an interesting paradox. I think I definitely would do it again if I needed to. It is such a real life that you really have. You are your own reward. You really earn everything about yourself, and when you are earning, then your self-worth grows. When you are. You just know that you're accomplishing the things that are happening with your own 2 hands. It's extremely rewarding. Extremely rewarding.
You can learn more about life on a dairy farm at darmalee.com. On this cold morning, there is a sure sign of spring. One of Darmalee's good heifers is doing her part, giving birth to the next generation. In Sharon Springs, it seems that the people and the businesses embrace tradition, and they believe that technology is not necessarily the better way. At Adelphi Paper Hangings, we see wallpaper made by hand.
Fills a place in someone's heart. Like actors in a play, we're here to play a
There's something very easy to find on Route 20. It's at the corner of Route 20 and Route 10. Hidden away in a building that used to be an old-fashioned grocery store and general store is a company now that makes wallpaper, and it makes wallpaper from scratch. It's traditional wallpaper, and we've been watching Michelle make a particular pattern for a few minutes here, and the wallpapers here are historic, they're traditional, they are made by hand, and this is the final product of what Michelle was working on. Beautiful, isn't it?
What better place to learn about the glorious spa days of Sharon Springs than at the beautiful Springhouse Spa? Founder Cheryl Rosen has brought the spa experience back to Sharon Springs. This luxurious spa combines modern therapeutic treatments with Sharon Springs' old world charm. She has included a gallery showcasing images from Sharon Springs' past. Here we meet Nancy Pfau, a Sharon Springs native and local historian.
Way back, before Europeans came here, this was a very sacred spot. Native American tribes, none of them actually had villages here because it was considered a spot where everyone should come for their health. I mean, they really believed, and they were proud of the fact that those tribes that lived in this area had nicer skin because they would use these wonderful waters and, brag about it. And then Europeans started settling here in the 18th century. But the original Europeans who settled here were the Palatine Germans and the Dutch, and they came as farmers. They really didn't appreciate that it was a spa until the 1830s, when David Eldridge realized the beneficiality of the waters. And of course the Germans, I'm surprised that it took them that long, because in Germany we still have these wonderful spas. And he started the first boarding house, moved it down by the springs. Very soon it became renowned, and certainly in the 1850s, 60s, and 70s, this was the spot to come to. The Vanderbilts, the Macy's, the Roosevelts, they came on the spa trail and they spent weeks here with all their trunks and the clothes, and I try to imagine what it must have looked like here with these people dressed to the nines, marching down as their healthy walks. Then in the 1870s, Saratoga started to eclipse Sharon Springs. But at the same time, Saratoga announced that no Jews would be allowed to stay in any of the hotels in the entire town of Saratoga. And this was true with a lot of other places in New York and probably elsewhere. And by default, because wealthy Jewish people had already been coming. The Macy's, for example, were Jewish. The Strausses were Jewish, and they had been coming here. We became a Jewish resort. So in the 20th century, we were a Jewish destination. A lot of Jews from New York City and elsewhere would come here. Now, they weren't the only clientele. We also had a lot of Italian families would come, and because they also believed in the benefits of the baths. Then after World War II, all of the spas were kind of suffering from the Depression and et cetera. And after World War II, the survivors of the Holocaust demanded reparations from Germany, and Germany agreed to finance their vacation at a health spa, because again, in Germany it was considered important to your health to go to a sulfur spa. And the duration of your treatment depended on how badly you had been treated in the camps. So, and the lead rabbi in New York City said, and the Germany said they would only choose one spa in all of the United States. And the lead rabbi in New York said, if that's true, then it'll be Sharon Springs. And so that actually, in some ways, saved us. So for a long time, we had the Holocaust victims. I remember working in the baths and seeing the numbers tattooed on the arms. It was a powerful moment for me growing up to know about that. But because we had always been accustomed to difference here, accepting perhaps more of difference, that today now we are becoming known as a place for people who are gay, have found a refuge here. There are a lot of gay families. I think that's that's the kind of the new thing. And with that, A lot of artists have moved in. You've met many of them. I know you've focused on a lot of them. So we've become a destination for other reasons.
Get your sled out on the trails. Call Turnbull Insurance and have a snow adventure tomorrow with complete snowmobile insurance protecting you and your sled. Call 735-9201 and get out on the trails. Watch Mohawk Valley Living every Sunday on Fox 33 and UTR. And pick up the free Mohawk Valley Living magazine the first of each month. Available at many locations like these throughout the Mohawk Valley and at your closest Stewart shops. Call Yannick Excavating for all your residential and commercial projects, from new construction and land clearing to septic systems, driveways, basements, ponds, and topsoil. Visit yannickexcavating.com. Do something about your chronic pain. InterX Therapy can be the answer to your post-surgical or sports injury rehabilitation or chronic neuropathic pain. Call Dr. Michael Tucherone at 853-6225 for non-invasive InterX Therapy. Celebrate the season at North Star Orchards with sweet cider, fresh baked pies, and cider donuts. Add some autumn color with decorative gourds, Indian corn, and corn stalks. Celebrate autumn at North Star Orchards in Westmoreland. The Village Crossing is full into fall. Your favorites have arrived, including comfortable cropped and tapestry jackets. Come in and they'll help you put it all together at the Village Crossing in Clinton. That special art, photograph, or memorabilia deserves a special frame. Oscars creates one-of-a-kind gold and silver leaf mirrors and frames. Oscars Picture Framing, 12 Kellogg Road, New Hartford. Have a tropical adventure and walk among hundreds of free-flying butterflies, tropical birds, plants, lizards, and frogs at the Pop Butterfly Conservatory. It's an unforgettable experience for all ages. Open 7 days a week on Route 7 in Oneonta. Meelan's Market is your holiday meat headquarters, featuring low-salt, low-fat smoked ham and store-made kielbasa. Try their famous crown roast of pork or prime rib, and be sure to pre-order your fresh seafood and shrimp platters. Meelan's Market at the Four Corners in Clark Mills. Tom's Natural Foods is your connection to local farms for natural and organic fruits and vegetables, meats, eggs, cheeses, and other milk products. At Tom's Natural Foods in Clinton, naturally.
We hope that you enjoyed our program today. We always enjoy our rejuvenating trips here, and we hope that you will join us again next week. Between now and then, enjoy Mohawk Valley Living.
Got a head like a bean. He steers a T-bird like you never seen. Picks up the young ones at the Dairy Queen, saying hop on in now. 'Cause